Okay, boys and girls, we're going to do Homelinks 4.1. All right, tonight's homework, all you had to do was you have to get a volunteer to help you out on this one. All right, so find somebody in the house. It doesn't have to be an adult. If you can get a brother or sister, that would be fine too. But you're going to measure that person to the nearest half inch. Boys and girls, make sure you're measuring to the nearest half inch, which could be a half inch or it could be to the whole inch. So the name of my adult was Mr. Ruin. So you just go ahead and put their name down. Okay. And when I measured his height, he was about 68 inches in height. Okay. His shoe. Now, when I went ahead and measured his shoe, I made sure that I just had a yardstick because I didn't need to use anything taller because it's a short length. And his shoe measured 16 inches. All right, and then around his neck. Well, we all know that we can't take a yardstick around our neck, so I found a tape measure. If you can't find a tape measure, you could probably use a piece of string or a piece of ribbon and then measure it with your ruler when you're finished. So around his neck, he was about 16 inches. Okay, his waist, well, he didn't want me to measure his waist, that's for sure. Oh, that's his wrist. Never mind, I got the wrong thing there. He wouldn't let me measure his waist, that's for sure. But his wrist, okay, to measure his wrist, it was only 6 inches. Okay, and then the distance from his waist, so I started where you would put your hands on your waist and then measure from where their hands are all the way down to the floor. And this case was about 38 inches. Okay. Now, the next section here, you're just working with the arms. All right, so you could just measure the forearm, and they show you here where to measure between your elbow and your wrist here, and that was about 12 inches. Okay, and his hand span, okay, measuring from your pinky here all the way to the end of your thumb, and that was about 10 inches. And then his arm span was from one end of his hand, starting here, and going to the other end of his arm. And that was about, I forget what I had down. Oh, here it is. Never mind. It was about 42 inches. So he has a big arm span. Okay. This gives you a little bit of practice on measuring. So that's a good practice for you. Now, the bottom part here, let's get started on. Make sure we have a unit. Let's go with bananas. Okay, make sure you put a unit. You can put anything that you would like. It doesn't matter, but you make sure you have a unit. Now, all we have to do here is fill in the, solve our problems down here at the bottom. Now, boys and girls, make sure you use whatever strategy you can work with. So if I have 293 plus 145, notice my operation here is plus, so be careful with that. Okay, let's expand this out into expanded form. So I have 200 plus 90 plus 3, 100 plus 40 plus 5. Let's move that over. All right. So we have 3 plus 5, which is 8. 90 plus 40 gives me 130. And then 200 plus 100 is 300. And if I add all of that together, I get 438. So my answer here would be 438 is equal to or the same as 293 plus 145. All right, our next one is 326 minus 158. So 326 minus 158. Okay, and I'm going to do the old basic algorithm here. So 6 minus 8, I can't do it, so I'm going to come over here and I'm going to borrow one group of 10. So now I only have one group of 10. I brought 10 over. I had 6 already there, so that gives me 16. 16 minus 8 is 8. 1 minus 5, now remember that's 10, and I don't have one group of 10 minus 5 groups, I can't do that. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to borrow a group of 100s. So now I only have 2. I'm bringing over 10 tens. I had 1 there, so that gives me 11 tens. So 11 minus 5 is 6. 2 minus 1 is 1. So my answer is 168. So 326 minus 158 is equal to or the same as 168. All right, boys and girls, that concludes today's Home Links 4.1.